Welcome back to Carol's Kitchen. Tonight we're going to be doing two different types of items. One is a cold soup called gazpacho. And I looked up gazpacho, and the derivation means a Spanish cold soup made out of primarily vegetables. So it's full of vitamins and essentially a low-cal product. The other will be an entree called shrimp and pasta primavera. And both of these are low fat and low cholesterol. What we're going to be using is, for the base, we're going to be using Walden Farms, which makes all kinds of really nice low-cal, low-fat, and low cholesterol type of salad dressings. For the first recipe, we're going to be using the Walden Farms Reduced Calorie Italian. And then for the second recipe, we're going to be using the Reduced Calorie Creamy Italian with Parmesan cheese. This one has 35 calories per serving, and the other one is really great because it has only 9 calories per serving. But both are very acceptable in a low-fat and low cholesterol cooking. So let's get started on our cold gazpacho soup, and then we'll go back to our entree after that's done. Alright, the first item we're making tonight is the cold gazpacho soup. Now we're going to start with 2 cups of tomato juice, and to that we're going to add a half a cup of the Walden Farms Reduced Calorie Italian salad dressing. So we're going to use the blender, and this is a very fast, refreshing soup to make on a hot summer's night. So we'll add the 2 cups of tomato juice to the blender. To that we're going to add a half a cup of the Walden Farms low-cal Italian salad dressing. Shake it up first, and always make sure you have the cover off. Okay, here's a half a cup. Now we're just going to blend this for a minute. Blend these two things together on low speed. So we'll just sort of puree this right now. We just mix the two together fine. Normally you'd be adding a lot of extra calories with the oils, but since this is only 9 calories per tablespoon and we're only using a half a cup, it's not that many calories because each serving is only 100 calories apiece. Now to that we're going to add a half a cup of peeled and seeded cucumber. Put that right in there. And also a half a cup of red bell pepper. You can use red bell pepper, you can use yellow peppers or green peppers. Tonight we're using a half a cup of red bell peppers. I'm going to put that in there. And also, this is a half a cup of plain unflavored breadcrumbs. And you don't want to get breadcrumbs with any other spices in it because we certainly have plenty of spices with all the vegetables that we're using. And essentially the breadcrumbs will help to keep the soup thicker and give it a little nice consistency. So we'll add that. And then of course our ever popular clove of garlic. We'll put that right in there. There you go. And we're just going to blend this on high speed. Now hold your blender. If you don't hold the top of the blender, you could have a big problem in the kitchen. So we'll start relatively low. And now we're going to increase the speed. And go all the way up to the top. Now you can see from the blender here that we have 4 cups of the soup mixture. And if you were serving a half-cup portion, you would have 8 servings. If you want to be more generous, it would be 4 large servings. Let's just give it another final blend. Fine. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to pour this into a nice bowl, and we're going to chill the whole thing in the refrigerator. You want to serve gazpacho nice and icy cold. So we'll show you. We'll pour it in. It's been all blended up. And then when you serve it, I'll show you now, what you do is you take some finely chopped cucumber and some finely chopped red pepper. You reserve a half of each from the original recipe, and you just sort of sprinkle on top. And you garnish with some cucumber and also with some red pepper for a little flavor. Now also you can add, of course, we want to put a little black pepper in there too, so we'll add, no more than 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Now I have used regular tomato juice, so I'm not adding any salt. We don't need to add any more sodium to this. If you are on a sodium restricted diet, you could use unsalted tomato juice, and it would be very low in sodium as well. So this is our cold gazpacho, and give it a try because it's really quite tasty and very nutritious. It has a lot of nutrition for very few calories. Okay, now we're going to go on to our shrimp pasta primavera dish. Okay, we are heating our oil in a nice Teflon coated pan, and now we're going to make our shrimp and pasta primavera. Now what you want to do is you want to just start sauteing the garlic. So I have 2 garlic cloves chopped up, and if you see anything that looks a little pinkish in there, that's some of the red bell pepper that got in there, but that doesn't matter. Okay, let's just put this in here. Okay, so we've got our garlic. To the garlic, we want to start adding our vegetables. And we're going to start adding our broccoli florets. And it's like a stir fry with shrimp, and then we're going to incorporate it with pasta. It's going to be fabulous. Okay, now we're going to add, kind of coat the broccoli a little bit. We don't want things to burn, so I'm going to lower the heat. Next we're going to add our red bell peppers, which I have sliced lengthwise. And you can see already we have great colors. Now we're only using a tablespoon of olive oil here. So again, with vegetables, instead of adding more oil, let's just add a little bit of cold water to prevent burning. So we'll put a little bit of water in there and kind of steam it up. Next we want to add some nice zucchini slices. This is 2 zucchinis cut up, approximately 1/2 cup. It looks like a little bit more, but that's fine. Okay. Now we have all kinds of nice great vegetables in here. Of course the broccoli gives you vitamin A, and the green pepper as well. And we have some vitamin C there. We get all kinds of good nutrition. Next we're going to add some scallions, and I have taken 3 and cut them all up Use the whole thing, tops, bottoms, just cut off the little fuzzy edges. And this is a member of the onion family and is very tasty. Now since we added the water, we're going to raise the heat a little bit. Now we're going to saute this for a few minutes, and then we're going to remove it, and then we're going to saute our shrimp, and then we're going to put the whole thing together. We're going to put the vegetables and the shrimp together with the pasta, and we're going to add the sauce, which is the low-fat, creamy Parmesan salad dressing, and also a little bit of extra Parmesan cheese. So we'll steam this, and we'll come back and we'll do the shrimp. Fine, now our vegetables are all sauteed and steamed. You still want them to be crunchy. This has taken about 5 minutes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the vegetables to one side temporarily, and we're going to saute our shrimp. Fabulous colors. We're going to take a tablespoon of oil using the same pan, and we're going to add that right in there. And then we're going to take our shrimp, and believe it or not, this is a pound of shrimp. The recipe called for half a pound, however, I wanted to have a few more shrimp in there. So I went for the whole thing, a pound of shrimp. Okay, I'm going to saute this. Now the shrimp has already been cooked, peeled, and deveined. So we're just going to saute these briefly in the oil. Okay, the smells, the aromas are fabulous. And we'll just kind of let them cook nicely for no more than a couple of minutes. Actually, probably a minute. Seafood that has already been cooked does not have to be overcooked. The one thing you do not want to do is overcook seafood or fish. And we're just going to give this a few minutes and we'll be done. Now the only thing that will be adding a slight amount of cholesterol is the shrimp itself, but essentially everything else is so low fat and so low cholesterol that it's with 88 milligrams of cholesterol per serving, this is still considered an acceptable low cholesterol meal. When you consider that 300 milligrams is your maximum for the day, so this is fine. You could even do this with other seafood. You could use scallops. You could use fresh fish, like fish kebabs. That would be nice too. And that would be great as well. Now the shrimps are starting to curl upon themselves. That means they are almost done. Okay, we're going to turn off the heat now, and we're going to add the shrimps. Whoops, one did stick. Okay, we're going to add the shrimp to the vegetable mixture. And the last step and final step is that I have about 3/4 of a pound of cooked vermicelli pasta. You can use either vermicelli or angel hair. Now you want to use nice, light, fine pasta. You want a delicate pasta. You certainly wouldn't want to put this on ziti or something like that. And we're going to just move this right over here. And we're going to add the two together, and we're also going to toss it with our low-fat, reduced-calorie, creamy Italian salad dressing. So what we want to do is we just want to add, whoops, we want to add this right in here. This is hot. Trust me, this is hot. This just came off the burner. Okay. And we're going to take our salad dressing and we're going to drizzle it on like that. This is 8 tablespoons of the reduced creamy Italian. And we're going to toss it with the pasta. Oh, it's fabulous. And I think probably next time I would have even a larger bowl to toss this. And you just want to incorporate all the vegetables with the shrimp. And then at the very end, we're just going to sprinkle some Parmesan cheese, like so. And I think that with our health conscious society today, that this is a really great recipe. So between the gazpacho and this, we have a full meal tonight with plenty of nutrition. Thank you, and send in if you'd like these recipes. I will see you again on Carol's Kitchen. Welcome to Carol's Kitchen. Today we are going to be guests at a beautiful home in Cheshire, the home of Richard and Sally Ziegler. And I was really thrilled when they invited me over here and they said that I could use their kitchen, because this is my idea of a dream kitchen with beautiful center island, nothing obstructing in the way. And I just thought it would be a lot of fun to come over here and cook a few things in a really nice, well laid out kitchen. So let's get started on the Long Island seafood chowder. That's the first thing we're making today. Now I've heated up my pan. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a tablespoon of margarine to the pan. That's about a tablespoon, a little bit more. And we're going to bring that up on high heat. And of course, I'm not used to this stove, so if I make a mistake, just hang in there. Now I have already done my vegetables. The thing with this is if you can get everything ready ahead of time, you can save a lot of time when you finally want to put it together. Now I used my food processor and I chopped the onions, which I used a nice blade to chop with. Also, I julienned my carrots in there. I really diced very finely this celery, because I wanted that to be really fine for this recipe. Now, the potatoes were julienned a while ago, and I have not added any ascorbic acid or lemon juice, so that's why they turn pink. But it won't matter in this recipe because we're cooking it up. And then, of course, we have clams, which we're going to add later with low-fat milk. And I've got some fish in here, which we're not uncovering yet till we're ready to. So let's start, and we're going to add our onions first. Okay. Let's see. We want this on high. There we go. Okay. Good. So we're going to start with adding our onions. And we're going to saute the vegetables for 3 minutes. And then we're going to simmer for 15 minutes. Now we're going to add our celery. Okay. And next we're going to add the carrots. Right here. Okay, it calls for a cup of each one of these vegetables, but in cooking something like this, if you go over, it doesn't matter. You can always make a larger amount, and that's what I intend to do today. You cannot do that in baking. If you do that in baking, If you go over on your ingredients, you're going to ruin it. So we'll add the carrots. As you can see, we have lots of nice colors in here. Okay. So let's see, we have the onions, the carrots, and the celery. And we're going to saute this for 3 minutes. Then we're going to come back and we're going to stir in our potatoes, bay leaf, salt, and thyme. And then we're going to simmer that for 15 minutes. After that's simmered, we're going to puree half of it in a food processor, and that will be our thickening agent. And then we're going to put the rest in with the fish and a little low-fat milk, and we'll be done. So let's saute this for 3 minutes. All right, we have simmered the carrots, the celery, and the onions for 3 minutes. And you can see them right here, if I can get this out of the way. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the potatoes. And we have 3 cups of peeled potatoes. Whoops. And we're adding the potatoes. Then we're going to add the clam broth from 1 can of chopped clams. And we're going to also add a ½ teaspoon of thyme. We'll give it a nice flavor that goes very well with fish. And also a ½ teaspoon of salt. If you don't want to use the salt, you don't have to. But it's only a ½ teaspoon, so I'm going to use it. Okay, this mixture now will cook down and we'll simmer it for 15 minutes. After which time we will take half and put it in the food processor. And then we will add the rest of the vegetables, the codfish that I've selected for today, the clams, and low-fat milk. And then we're also going to put in, for a little bit of flavoring, a little bit of Tabasco sauce. All right, we have simmered the vegetables for 15 minutes. I have taken half of it out and pureed it in the food processor. Now I'm going to put the other half back in. And this is our thickening agent. Okay. Just get all that puree vegetable, that's all that is, right in there. Put that up there. And we'll just stir this together. Okay. Now I'd just like you to get a shot in here and see this all stirred together. So far, all we have are the vegetables. And it's just puree vegetables mixed with the regular vegetables. Now we're going to add 1 cup of minced clams. Here. Okay, and then we're going to add a pound of the codfish that I have. All right. Now the codfish is in there. 2 cups of low-fat milk that we want to put in there. Okay. Then we're going to just stir that up and we're going to add a touch of Tabasco sauce for a little flavor. A few drops of hot sauce. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of crushed red pepper. Make this a little bit even spicier. That'll be enough. Okay. Now you just kind of stir it all up and we're going to let this whole mixture simmer for another 8 to 10 minutes. And when it's all done, we'll ladle some out for you and we'll show you how nice this is. This is a wonderful seafood chowder using very low-fat ingredients, no cream, no extra butters or fats. And this would be, actually, this is a meal in itself. Served with some good hearty bread, and there you go. All right, we're going to let this simmer for 10 minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to ladle this into a bowl, and we're going to have our seafood chowder. Thank you.
If you would like a copy of any of the recipes you saw in tonight's Carol's Kitchen, such as recipe number 13, gazpacho soup, or recipe number 14, shrimp and pasta primavera, or our extra recipe number 15, hearty Long Island seafood chowder, please send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Carol's Kitchen, 35 Sorghum Mill Drive, Cheshire, Connecticut, 06410. And once again, please remember to include a self-addressed stamped envelope. We always look forward to your comments and suggestions.